seems like there's plenty of money floating around. But here's what the league doesn't want fans to think about. None of that money has hit yet.
Caitlin Clark in the locker room saying, "We got more money for this."
The TV money hasn't kicked in. The expansion cash is tied up in building new facilities and front offices. So while the headlines look promising, the day-to-day reality is still grim. Even worse, adding new teams dilutes the current revenue pool. The more franchises you add, the more ways you have to slice the same pie, which means even less money per player unless the league grows.
The most correct way to describe it.
The CBA negotiation that's going on, players have rejected it.
It would be so on brand for the WNBA to gain momentum and then go into a lockout, killing their sport.
The WNBA players just rejected what they're calling an insulting CBA offer. And they're not alone. Even Nneka Onwumike, one of the most respected voices in the league, hinted that the status quo is unacceptable and that the players have reached a breaking point. Add in the rookies demanding better terms, and you've got a mix of new and veteran voices ready to act, not talk. And here's where things start to fracture. There's a growing divide inside the league, not just between owners and players, but between players themselves. The Indiana Fever and the Golden State Valkyries are riding massive media attention.
The Valkyries are going to bring in more money into the WNBA.
We can focus on our players in the union. We got a proposal from the league, which was honestly a slap in the face.
And now a lockout is staring the league in the face. Breanna Stewart's furious Satu Sabali says it's a slap in the face, and yet somehow the one player who saved this league, Caitlin Clark, still isn't in the room.
Caitlin Clark is the one bringing all the media attention. Caitlin Clark is the one bringing...
Match their output, and their voices are being drowned out by spreadsheets and boardroom silence. This isn't just a bad negotiation, it's a warning sign. The disconnect between value and recognition is so wide right now, a lockout isn't just possible, it's starting to look inevitable.
It would be so on brand for the WNBA to gain momentum, start getting viewership, start selling at arenas, and then go into a lock.
Bringing all the young guys to the WNBA, people who are wanting to watch and tune into all these games. All the fans want to be just like Caitlin.
If you stand with Caitlin and think she deserves a seat at the table, drop a 100% for Caitlin in the comments right now, because this is getting serious.
There is some version of animosity based upon the love that Caitlin Clark is receiving by everybody else.
In reality, she is the best thing that's...
Rivaled, where they own Unrivaled, and I think there is a non-zero chance they're thinking in their heads, if we get this season cancelled.
Suddenly, Caitlin Clark, with no league to play in, becomes a free agent in the market of exposure. And if she were to play in Unrivaled, that league would explode overnight. Brand deals, sponsors, viewership, everything would follow her. The players who own pieces of Unrivaled could triple their investment. One transcript even said it outright. If Caitlin Clark joins Unrivaled, they make more money from that than their WNBA salaries. So now we're in a situation where the league is losing money.
Ever happened to this league?
Caitlin Clark is must-see TV.
The first offer from the WNBA owners dropped, and players wasted no time tearing it apart.
The WNBA players have rejected the first CBA offer, and of course, they got to get fly at the mouth over it. Satu
Sabali didn't sugarcoat it, but the roster math. As of right now, about 80% of WNBA players will become free agents next year. That means whatever deal is struck or not struck in this CBA will decide the future of the league's entire workforce. The stakes couldn't be higher. But here's the problem. The union, the owners, and the public aren't even remotely aligned on what that future should look like. Behind the scenes, several veteran players have said they're willing to sit out.
If the rookie scale contracts don't go up, they're going to sit out.
If rookie scale contracts don't increase. Names like Angel Reese and DJ Carrington have already spoken up. She went public and called the league's proposal a slap in the face.
Satu Sabali, a WNBA player representative, told the media and said it was a slap in the face.
The WNBA sent a proposal to the union, and it was, quote, a slap in the face.
That exact phrase spread like wildfire across the internet. This wasn't just about money, it was about respect, and the players made that clear. Breanna Stewart, one of the most
in any other team,
and financial momentum. Their players are raking in endorsement deals, social media exposure, and visibility the rest of the league can only dream of. Caitlin Clark's teammates are reportedly making 7 and even 8 figures through sponsorships and brand collaborations. She's elevated the value of everyone around her, and yet they've been largely excluded from union leadership. Compare that to players on poverty franchises. Yes, that's the exact word used in multiple transcripts. Teams like the Chicago Sky, Connecticut Sun, and LA Sparks, respected figures in the league, and a vocal players union rep, echoed the same frustration. In her own words, she said she was absolutely frustrated and that the league just ignored everything we said.
Breanna Stewart, CBA negotiations. She ended up stating absolutely frustrated. Anytime you go back and forth, you're not expecting to hear that yes on the first proposal, but you're expecting to have a conversation. They kind of just ignored everything.
Isn't just a marketing asset. It's the only reason this new media rights deal is even on the table.
Caitlin's got to be in the room. She's a reason for the league to even be in position to make these asks.
They're getting this new media rights deal because of her, Caitlin Clark.
Without her, those network execs don't even pick up the phone. And yet here we are, a league on the verge of its most profitable era, alienating the one person responsible for that turnaround. Meanwhile, the rest of the players are caught in a system where their earnings don't
thing we said.
That line says it all. There's a growing feeling that the league is just going through the motions without actually listening to the athletes who built the game. And it's not just the stars speaking out. Sophie Cunningham and Sydney Colson, both members of the Indiana Fever, read out a prepared statement on national TV before their game against the Las Vegas Aces. They said, "As the league grows, it's time for the CBA to reflect our true value."
The WNBA is negotiating for large.
The players are divided, and the most powerful marketing asset in women's basketball is being sidelined, possibly to protect egos and old politics. That's not just dysfunctional, that's self-sabotage. And fans, they're catching on. Public support is swinging toward the owners, mainly because they're the ones writing checks while players openly talk about shutting the season down. Fans can see who's putting in the work and who's burning bridges. The reality is this: if a lockout happens, and all signs say it will,
larger salary, shares of league revenue, and improved conditions.
As the league grows, it's time for the CBA to reflect our true value.
We're fighting for a fair share of the business we built. It was bold, direct, and impossible to ignore. Here's why this matters. The current CBA expires at the end of the season, and most players knew this storm was coming. That's why several top names, like Stewart, Kelsey Mitchell, and others, signed only one-year contracts. They didn't
out killing their sport.
At this point, we're no longer speculating. Every signal, every press conference, and every frustrated social media post points in one direction. A lockout in 2025 isn't just possible, it's likely. And the deeper you dig, the more you realize it's not just about pay, it's about power, perception, and a league that feels dangerously close to tearing itself apart from the inside. Let's start with the numbers again. Not the salary figures want to get trapped in a long-term deal under old terms. They knew something better was coming, but now, the first offer from ownership wasn't better. It was worse. To make things worse, while all this is happening, the league is busy expanding to new cities like Philly and Detroit, launching new franchises and making big promises about the future. Meanwhile, the players already on the court are saying, "Hey, how about fixing what's broken right now first?" Nothing happened. So now you have a situation where the player who saved the league is isolated, disrespected, and likely watching all of this with one eyebrow raised. And let's be honest, if she walked away tomorrow, the WNBA's financial momentum would collapse in a week. The owners know it. The fans know it. The media knows it. But instead of giving her a seat at the table, they're playing politics. And it's going to backfire. Because here's the truth, no one in the WNBA front office wants to say out loud. Caitlin Clark has more leverage than the players' union and the owners combined. Her presence
Focus on the teams that have everything set up right now, Sabali said.
That's why the frustration is boiling over. You've got a league trying to grow, but the foundation is still cracked. And Caitlin Clark, she's not even in the room, despite being the reason this league has a seat at the negotiating table in the first place.
There's one player that's not in those CBA negotiations.
That's not just strange, it's dangerous. Because this isn't just a bad offer, it's a signal. The league's most try to help the league. She's pushed for spot bonuses for other players. She's made every media appearance imaginable. She's brought in record merchandise sales, boosted attendance.
We get more for the Commissioner's Cup than you do if you're a WNBA champion. That makes no sense.
And made teams like the Fever national headlines overnight. But when she asked for bonus structures, the league said no.
Caitlin was asking for spot bonuses and they said no. Caitlin spent a year, it seemed, trying to be liked by these players.
When she tried to negotiate better terms on behalf of other players, influential players believe they're being sidelined. And when you mix disrespect with silence, you get a powder keg, and it just exploded.
There's only one player in the league worth that kind of money. And honestly, she's probably worth $10 million a year.
The truth behind the CBA rejection goes deeper than just egos and emotions. It's about money, leverage, and timing.
Players don't have any leverage.
And right now, the timing couldn't be worse for the players. Because while they're demanding better pay and conditions, the one player and one player only, Caitlin Clark.
This league, it has been absolutely exponential due to one player and one player only, and that's Caitlin Clark.
Without her, league-wide viewership dropped 55%. That's not a coincidence. That's cause and effect.
League-wide viewership being down 50%, 55% with Caitlin Clark gone, is not good.
And yet somehow the one athlete who flipped the business model of the WNBA overnight is being left completely out of the CBA talks. How does that make sense? Clark has already used her influence to...
And Michael Jordan and Kobe and all the legacies.
And it's not a fluke. The league has lost an average of $10 million per year since its founding.
The league has never turned a profit, ever.
With many franchises still running at a deficit. That includes iconic teams like the LA Sparks and Connecticut Sun, who are struggling to keep up with the investment demands of a rapidly evolving league. So when players walk into